cross my heart, I won't do it again. I tell myself, draw the line. Not do I do, but once in a while I trip up and I cross the line. And I think of you. 2 years are just like that. My head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess, but wasn't it the best? Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over
Ladies and gentlemen, may we please have your attention for this public safety announcement. This is the Printworks Conference Centre. The Printworks Conference Centre has 8 emergency exits. Exit signs will remain illuminated at all times. Please take a moment to check the exit nearest you, bearing in mind that it may be behind you. In the event of emergency, you will be asked to proceed to the exit and move down the steps to the assembly point located in the lower castle yard beside the church. For your convenience, restrooms are located out the doors to the left. Please ensure that mobile phones are switched to silent while in the Printworks Conference Centre, and remember that this is a no smoking and no vaping building.
Two. Check. 2 1 2.
Check one.
Hi, could I get everybody's attention just for a couple of seconds? We have a group that are performing, a group of singers and rappers that are performing a song to open the show. So they need everybody in the audience to help them with their chorus. So when you hear them say...
That's how we do it
No.
in Cork, kid. Oh.
When you hear them say...
Do you like what we do?
We want everybody in the crowd to say,
Yeah, boy.
Right? So let's try it here. 1, 2, 3. Do you like what we do? Yeah, boy. Wanna be in the crew?
Wanna hear something new? We're gonna blow off the room.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
When I think of children's rights, I think of a society that not only listens to the voice of the child, but embraces that voice.
As a society, we need to do more to help in the development of children's rights. We all have a role to play in that.
The most important thing to remember is that your rights can't be taken away and should never be denied.
We all need to commit to making children's rights real for all children and young people.
At the Ombudsman for Children's Office, we work to raise awareness about children's rights and assist in implementing change for young people.
Children's rights are universal. They apply to all children.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the cabin crew supported by Music Generation and GMC Beats.
Hi girl, how's it going? Grand. Did you hear the lads' new song?
Yeah, girl, it's decent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unreal.
Oh my god, I think that's them over there.
Oh my god, I think it is. Do you like what we do? Yeah, boy. Wanna be in the crew? Yeah, boy. Wanna hear something new? Yeah, boy. Wanna blow off the roof? Yeah, boy. Do you like what we do? Yeah, boy. Wanna be in the crew? Yeah, boy. Wanna hear something new? Yeah, boy. We're gonna blow off the roof? Yeah, boy. Jimmy's on the mic in the sun, I be chillin' like Superman. When I can turn to a villain, when I start to write the beats I be killing, I can never
wanna be.
Wanna be? I'm not living in your shadow. I just wanna be free.
That can only be me. There's no one else that I wanna be.
Wanna be? Let me express myself. I don't wanna be no one else.
Life is hard, but don't be scared, cause it's meant to be lived, not meant to be feared. You gotta stand back and take a deep breath, realize there's no need to be upset.
And if you feel like you're in a bad place, just step outside and feel the sun on your face. Just know your friends are only one call away, so never take any day as a bad day. That's how we do it in Cork. That's how we do it in Cork, kid. That's how we do it in Cork. That's how we do it in Cork, kid.
We make tunes in the cabin. We come up here because we love rapping. Non-stop chatting is Connor what's happening. Other MCs throw your lyrics in dapping, dapping.
Cat with a kid on the sea, don't respect the place, and you're messing with me. It's the King Jimmy, see me, you rattle with fear. Cruising down the street in my wheelchair. Started rapping at 6 years of age, then I from the cabin and everything changed from lyrics on my head to lyrics on the page. Went from rapping in my bedroom to being on stage.
Hey, the sound in the north side the cabin.
Who keeps it loud in the north side cabin? Who keeps the vibe going on like the cabin, the cabin, the cabin, the cabin? Hey!
I can only be me. There's no one else that I wanna be.
Wanna be? I'm not living in your shadow. I just wanna be free.
I can only be me. There's no one else that I wanna be.
Wanna be? Let me express myself. I don't wanna be no one else.
I would like to introduce the Minister of Catherine as Zapone. So, you look for.
I didn't get the fun part. No, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for gathering for this amazing event to celebrate World Children's Day on the 30th anniversary of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Weren't they amazing? Yeah! Where are they? Absolutely fantastic. And you know, it reminds me too, I was actually last week, I spent the week in Kenya, in Nairobi, where all of the various member states of the United Nations were gathering to look at specifically the rights of girls and women in relation to sexual, reproductive, and health rights for them. And as part of that gathering, we listened to a lot of young people and girls, but we had some great music too, and we had an amazing rapper there. So I'm so glad that we've already had the rapping. Is that it? Is there any more rapping? Ombudsman? Where's the Ombudsman? Where is he? Is he in the room? Oh, great. Okay. So listen, I know you've come from all over. I think you know I'm the Minister for Children. It's always the best part of my day if I'm able to spend some time with young people and children. I'm so excited to be able to have a little bit of time to listen to some of the young people who've been preparing to talk on their views and their experiences. And I believe that because you, young people, in growing up now, have a pretty deep understanding of what your rights are, what you should be hoping for, what you should expect from your families and also from the state and from people like me. I believe that the world is going to be a better place because you know that now. When I was younger, I didn't know anything about children's rights, but you do now. And you're going to talk to us from that perspective. And I think that's very exciting because you're holding us to account. You're suggesting that things, the ways in which things should be so that your lives you can follow your dreams. It's very important to my own department to ensure and support children's voices, to be heard, and we've done a lot of work on that over the last number of years. One of the things that we've been working on with the Corla, or the youth councils throughout the country, 31 youth councils, representatives of them are going to all come to Leinster House next Saturday to again come to the Dáil and to talk about what are the things that are most important to them. And I know some of you are aware, another group of young people came last weekend, and climate is one of the key issues. But what I'm here to tell you is that as an adult and as someone responsible to ensure that we create ways to that your life is better than it is now, that I really, really believe the only way we can do that is if you speak about your own experiences, what it is that you hope for, and what it is that you're looking for from your families and from your government in order to ensure that you can follow your dream. So I want to acknowledge the work of the Office of the Ombudsman, our Ombudsman Niall Muldoon. This is the second year they've been holding child talks. UNICEF, other NGOs that have helped to support to bring you here to today, all of the adults that have been working hard, but particularly the young people who are going to speak to us. We have 12, 13, 15, 17-year-olds, and it's a big deal to get up on the stage and to speak. And they've been preparing for the last while, being prepared by experts, so that they can be supported in the best possible way to speak their truth and to let us know what it is that they hope for. So I am so thrilled as Minister for Children to be able to launch this day and to be here and to hear some of what you have to say. And believe me, please do believe me that when children speak, I listen. And I don't just hear. When I listen and I hear, and I take that into account as I move throughout my day and through the laws that I bring forward, when I talk to the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach and other cabinet colleagues and other parliamentarians. When I hear what you have to say, I try to pass that on to others. And I know that this is why it's so fantastic that when you speak today, your voice is going to travel throughout the country. Congratulations for all of you preparing, and thank you all for traveling. And now I want to introduce Ellen Canavan, who is your first speaker. There you go.
Hello everybody, my name is Ellen Canavan and I'm 15 years old, and today I'm here to talk about a very topical subject at the moment, which is climate change. But before I get into my speech, let me first set the scene for you. I was born in Dublin and spent my earlier years living in Maynooth, County Kildare, before my parents decided to pack up and head to the countryside, which luckily for me was Donegal. Living in the countryside has given me a whole new appreciation of beautiful earth, scenery, beaches, mountains, hills, and above all, fresh, clean air. That is why, when I hear that our ecosystem is deteriorating, it makes me really mad. Because when I think of my future, I think about one day possibly having children of my own and taking them back to where I grew up, to where I love so, so much. I picture it to be the same Donegal that I see now, but in reality, if we don't do something, none of this will be possible. One day, I was sitting with my friends at lunch, talking about everything and anything, and we came upon the topic of climate change and the future of Ireland if this warming continues. With that, I felt really encouraged to do something about it, and it inspired me to have the same talk I had with them with my other family members and other people. It also encouraged me to write this talk today. I am currently a transition year student attending the Abbey Vocational School, and I have one of over 1,000 students attending. It has taken one generation to do this to our climate, and it is going to take another to fix it. And I'm not here to preach to you about what you should or should not do, but I am here on behalf of rural Ireland and on behalf of the children of Ireland to show that you can make a change from anywhere, no matter how big or small it is. There's an old saying, from tiny acorns, mighty oaks grow. This basically means by starting small, you can achieve big things. And with that, I want to promote and spread that idea across schools, clubs, towns, and across the whole of Ireland, because change can start from anywhere, because change doesn't discriminate. I'm heavily involved in GAA, and I play a lot of Gaelic and hurling. And on match days, my mum also helps out. And at half-time, she used to always bring plastic bottles up for us to make sure that we all got a drink. Since that, I've had a strong word with her, and she now recycles all the bottles and hasn't bought any more. This is just one example of effective change. A few of my friends at school came up with the idea of getting rid of plastic bottles and in return replacing them with our own drinking flasks. This was a simple idea, but it still created huge awareness around our school community, and the whole school got together to make it happen. In a few weeks' after that, additional drinking fountains were added to the facilities. This is another example of effective change. I feel more young adults should be given the opportunity to go into primary schools and secondary schools to give talks on this topic, as it is them that it's going to happen to. It's them that it's going to affect. More and more children should be encouraged to walk or cycle to school, as not only would it reduce carbon emissions, but also improve good mental health and reduce obesity levels. We all need to make a conscious effort to do these small changes, such as walking or cycling to school, reducing our plastic, and cutting down on red meat. If we don't do something, by 2030, the global temperature will likely rise by 1.5 degrees, best case scenario. Doing so will melt the ice caps and lead to Ireland's coastal areas to be wiped out. I love Donegal and I love where I live, and I don't want to sit back and let this happen. So please remember to make small changes. It is up to us. It is our responsibility. Thank you for your attention. I'm pleased to welcome to the stage Oisín.
Hi, my name's Oisín. I'm 17 years old and I'm a fifth-year student at an Irish-speaking secondary school in Rathfarnham. I live in Dublin with my parents and 2 younger brothers. I'm also one of 40,000 wheelchair users living in Ireland today. Despite my disability, I do my very best to learn, make friends, and to grab every opportunity that comes my way. Like most 17-year-olds, I go to school, I have a social life, and I have hobbies. One of those hobbies is sailing. I've been sailing since I was 8 years old and have competed in national competitions all over the country. For me, sailing isn't just about the exhilaration of the wind in my face or the sea spray as I hit a wave. It's about how, on land, I'm Oisín, the guy in the wheelchair. But once I get on that boat and out in the water, I'm Oisín, the fellow sailor or competitor. And what's even better is, the person in the boat beside me or sailing alongside me is not Sean, the guy with no arms, or Paul, the blind guy. They're fellow sailors or competitors. Now, I've had some pretty disastrous experiences while sailing, but none of them really compare to the challenges I face either getting to or getting home from sailing. I remember one time I had just finished a whole day of sailing and I was exhausted. I had 2 gear bags on my back and I was planning on getting the bus home. So the bus was a 10-minute push uphill and the nearest bus stop, was a 10-minute push uphill and the next bus was due in 20 minutes. So I push up the hill and I reach my first problem. When I got there, I realized there was a big crowd of people waiting to get in the same bus as me. This is a problem for me because what happened was the bus came and this big crowd of people got cut in front of me and got between me and the driver. The driver couldn't see me, so he couldn't let out the ramp. This normally delays the whole process. So I'm waiting behind this big queue of people. One by one they get on, and I'm getting ready to pop a wheelie and get on the step so that the driver doesn't have to put out the ramp. So it's my turn to get on the bus, and I approach the step, and he stops me, looks me up and down, then looks towards the back of the bus. He then looks back at me and says, "Sorry, mate, I can't let you on." When I asked him why, he said that there was a woman with a buggy in the space. A woman with a buggy in space. And when I asked him, could he ask her to move? He said that she had refused to move. It's at that point I realized I had no leg to stand on, so to speak. He shrugged his shoulders, closed the doors, and drove off. The next bus was in half an hour, and what's worse is it started to rain. So when I finally got home that night, I told my parents what happened. They were just as hurt and frustrated as I was. We complained to Dublin Bus at the time. Nothing was done. I went on the radio and told my story. Nothing happened. So it's at that point I realized there was a huge lack of awareness when it came to inclusivity and accessibility to public transport for the disabled community. I created a website called awarenessoverload.com. Awareness Overload is a disabled community website for members of the disabled community to write about their thoughts and concerns regarding basic human rights like inclusivity in the workplace and access to public transport that the rest of society take for granted. Here are two main tips to remember. Here are the two things to remember if you're ever using public transport. Number one, if there's a wheelchair user getting on the same bus, let them get on first, because when they put the ramp down, it'll make everything run a lot more smoothly. Number two, unless absolutely necessary, please do not block the wheelchair space or be standing in it or stopping someone with mobility issues or a wheelchair user from using that space. Thank you very much. Please welcome our next speaker, Lily.
Hi, who here knows what a personal budget is? Lots of people don't know what a personal budget is. I didn't, well, not until last year. Personal budgets are a new way to help and support people with a disability in Ireland. They are person-centred and optional. A personal budget is, sorry, I'm new to this. The person has choice and control over how they spend the money in their personal budget. Personal budgets can help people with a disability reach their full potential and achieve their dreams. It is about equality. When I first heard this, I thought it was a great idea. But on one hand, there was this great idea, and on the other hand, I also heard that children and young people in Ireland are being denied the access to a personal budget. This I did not like. Personal budgets are about helping people, and excluding under 18s isn't helping anyone. Their personal budgets are being denied to my friends. They're being denied to your friends. They're being denied to our brothers, our daughters, our sisters, and our sons. This is about all of us. We all know someone with a disability, and a personal budget could help them reach their full potential. I was curious about personal budgets. I wanted to know more about how they can help people and make a difference in children's lives. In other countries, personal budgets for children are used for being fit and healthy, being relaxed and happy, being able to travel safely and use public transport, and being safe in the community. These are just some examples of how personal budgets can help children for the better. In Ireland, the personal budget is being tested with people who are over 18. This is called the pilot project. For no reason, the government decided that children and young people under 18 should be excluded from this. I don't know why they wanted this. If they don't change their decision, children and young people won't have the same opportunities in life as other people. I was annoyed at this decision to deny children and young people a personal budget. Here is something that could help so many young people. This opportunity is being denied. I told my friend Beth about what was not happening, and she felt annoyed about it too, so we decided to do something about it. We wrote a letter explaining how personal budgets can help people and why we thought children needed to be included. We wanted the government to change their decision. We wanted people to know about this. We brought the letter to our school. Our teachers, Kira and Ruth, were very supportive. First, we read it out to our class. Our classmates were very angry. They agreed with us and wanted to help. One boy told us how he was personally affected by the lack of any services and supports to help him. He thought a personal budget would have helped. He wanted us to go into the other 6th class, so we did. They were annoyed too, and they thought it was unfair and discrimination. Everyone wanted children to be included in the pilot project. Everyone signed the letter, 60 children, and then we sent it off to lots of politicians and important people, telling them what needs to happen. Some of them replied, and others did not. The ones who did reply simply said, "Thank you for writing this letter," and more or less left it at that. It felt like they didn't care about the matter. It wasn't important. Though, the Ombudsman for Children and the CEO of the Children's Rights Alliance listened. They were both very concerned. The Ombudsman for Children's office came into my school to meet all of us and consider our proposal. The CEO of the Children's Rights Alliance was going to consider it as a possible policy item. To this date, nothing has happened. Sadly, this didn't lead to any change. Children and young people are being excluded from the pilot project. There are thousands of young people in Ireland with a disability. This affects thousands of lives and squanders potential. When I heard about Child Talks, I thought it was a great opportunity to get my message heard and make people listen, like the government on International Children's Day. I will continue to advocate about this issue and hope someday children and young people will be included. I'm disappointed in our government. I want to change things for the better for under 18s with disabilities. I learned from my campaign that the government don't think this issue is important. I also learned that organisations like Inclusion Ireland, who advocate for people with intellectual disability, child or adult, have had their budgets cut for no reason. I want the public, you, to hear about this, and I hope you now understand why it is important. Everyone here today needs to be an ally for under 18s. We need to stand up for under 18s with a disability. This is not just about children. This is about everyone. Help change the system. Our futures depend on it. I mentioned before about children's potential being wasted, and as Charles Schulz said, there is no heavier burden than unfilled potential. If you agree with my message, please spread the word. Thank you. Next up, we have Eric.
Hello, my name is Eric Ehige, and I have a quick question for the audience before I commence. How many people here are from Longford? Hey, a bit louder, let them hear you. Well, for those who aren't, I'm going to take you on a brief trip to Longford. If one goes to Longford, they see different views and images of different people from different cultural backgrounds, all within the same town. Longford is a place like none that I've ever been to before. Children from different continents play together. Students from across the world study together. Mothers with different cultures gossip together. But most importantly, people, regardless of where they come from, live together. I was quite sporty growing up, and I had a profound interest in Gaelic football. I didn't play the sport, but I was prone to watch a game or two at the local grounds, Pearse Park. I've only been to a handful of local games, but I'll never forget being at one particular schoolboy football final. St. Michael's BNS were playing against Arda. They were the two biggest teams in the division, so there was a massive, humongous build-up to the game. I remember being present to the audience and noticing an incredibly diverse audience, filled with parents supporting their child and the team that their kid represented. I can almost hear the roar from one of my Nigerian relatives who was inadvertently mispronouncing every traditionally Irish name that she yelled. Nevertheless, it was beautiful because so many different people from different backgrounds were together at the same place at the same time. Longford's diversity had revealed itself to me, and quite frankly, I've been in love with it ever since. So, the sad thing, I guess, was the fact that when I became more politically educated, I noticed that the body of political leaders in Longford didn't share the same diversity that I saw in Pearse Park on that day. And ever since I noticed that, I told myself that that was something that I was going to strive to change. So, last year, I put myself forward to be on my school's student council, and I was successfully elected. I then contested to become the president of the student council of my school. and I was successful in that field also. And that, that was a big thing for me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a big thing for me, but also a big thing for my school because I was the first person of color to become the president of the student council within my secondary school. So, I ran to be on the student council primarily because I wanted to get more involved in student politics, but also because I wanted to encourage younger people who were in the minority because of the way they looked, the way they felt, where they came from, or otherwise, to get involved in extracurricular activities and grasp onto the opportunities that come with being in secondary school, the opportunities that we sometimes overlook as students. But that evening, what made that day so special was the conversation that I had with my mom that evening, a very deep conversation. She said, Eric, I feel you need to make more of an effort to understand how the Irish society works, and you need to work more sufficiently to change it for the better. So, I went home, I was in my room then, I was very sad, very emotional after the conversation I had with my mom, flicking through Facebook as we do as young people, and I came across a photo of my friend Luke. And in the photo, Luke was with the president, Michael D. Higgins. I saw the photo and I said, Luke, how do I meet that guy too? I said, Luke, how do I become more of an active citizen? I said, Luke, is there any conferences in Dublin that I can go to, anything that I can engage in that will make me a better citizen within this country? Luke told me about an organization that he was a part of, the Irish Second Level Students Union. They are a representative body that represent every secondary school student across the country. He told me about an event that they were having in the summer, and he asked me to come. So immediately I registered, the day came and I attended, and it is safe to say that that was one of the most life-changing, eye-opening events that I've ever been to in my life. I saw so many young people who are passionate. They share the same ambition that my mother instilled with me from the conversation that I had with her. They wanted a better Irish society too. And ever since that day, I've felt that passion within my stomach, and it drove me to do things like what I'm doing today, speaking in front of all of you. So after the event, I told myself that I had to stay involved. Some way, somehow, I needed to continue to stay involved. So the organization, I noticed that they put out a call. They were looking for a new welfare officer to be on their national executive. So I said, hey, presto, I got to apply for this too. So I did so, and eventually I became the new welfare officer of the Irish Second Level Students Union. Now, I tell it to you fast because it happened really fast, just like that, in fact. From being on the student representative body in your school, which is certainly one thing, to being on the national executive of the national representative student body, that was certainly another. After that, I came back to Longford, and I noticed that within my town, the town from which I came, the diversity amongst the political leaders was still not the same as what I saw in society, still not the same as what I saw at that beautiful game at Pearse Park. So I said I needed to work at a ground level to try and change that. So I got involved with an organization known as the Longford Africans Network, an organization that strives to help Africans integrate into society more effectively. I did so, and we had great times and we did great things. We spearheaded great projects and campaigns and helped Africans partake in more active activities in the local area. So I felt like I was doing good. I felt a bit like a politician, actually. I was walking the walk, talking the talk, shaking some hands. But before anything, I strive to be a genuine community leader, a servant to the people, a person for the people also. And I believe that all of you young people in this audience can be that too. See, my message, it's not to a politician, it is to you. And my message is run, put yourself out there, become involved in some way. Be politically, locally, through activism or otherwise. Be a leader for your community, because change does not come unless you move on. We need more people like you in a position of power, regardless of where you came from. For so long, I felt like I couldn't do it. I was the son of an immigrant. I looked a certain way, but I came to realize that Ireland is here to be changed for the better. As you've heard from some of the stories belonging to the young people that I spoke to you, we have so much inspirational young people who are willing to make a positive change, and I believe that you can do that too. All it takes is for you to go out there, look beyond the stereotypes, and see what you can do to better this nation. Before I close, I have two things to say to you. Firstly, I would like to thank you all for listening to me. It has been an honor. And lastly, the clock is ticking, so go out there and make a change. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Before I leave, I have to welcome the amazing, the bold, the brave Leanne. Thank you very much.
So
Hi, my name is Leanne, and I'm 17 years old, and today I'm advocating on behalf of my younger sister Emily. My sister Emily has an autism diagnosis, and this can often make everyday life quite difficult for her. She can't really be by herself, but we have never really had a chance for her to learn to be by herself. My sister and I are very close in age, and there's only about a year between us. And when we were growing up, basically, we always noticed there was something different with her. But whenever my mom and I went to doctors or anything like that, we were always turned away with a no until she was in about first class. So it took systems 8 whole years to be diagnosed with autism, and I find this disgraceful. And I often find this the most common struggle for any family, the actual diagnosis, which confuses me a lot, because as we go on, we should be spotting these things sooner rather than later. Growing up, we've worked with social workers and everything like that for as long as I can remember, but with that, a lot of pressure has been put on me, because my mom can't read, so growing up, I was teaching Emily everything like how to do math or reading or anything like that. Like I was learning how to myself. When she got into her teenage years, she started to throw these tantrums, and during these tantrums, she can often grab the nearest thing she sees and throws it in anger. But in everyday life, this is an unacceptable thing she can do. But she had a quite bad tantrum recently where she kept shouting just, "This isn't me, I can't be me here," as if she was trying to fight her autism. This breaks my heart to see. One of the few times I've actually seen her at her best self is working with a service called the Youth Advocate Program. And the idea of this program is that every youth is assigned an advocate, and the advocate will take you out and do different things with them. We found this really helpful for Emily as she has trouble making friends, and this really brought her out of her shell. But besides that, one of the only few times I've seen her at her best self was when I took her to her first concert, as Emily loves art and music. It was him and Pal at Tree Arena, which is a pretty big place, so I was nervous for the whole night in case she did throw a tantrum or anything like that. Thankfully she didn't, and she really enjoyed the night. It was definitely one of the happiest I've ever seen her. I don't think a smile even really faded from her face, even when the band left. And I want to see her like this more often, but we can't do that with the help of your services. And we finish with YAP soon, so when YAP leave our lives, we're not going to have anything again. We tried to get her into an overnight service where she could stay some nights overnight to help me and my mum at home, and so they can teach her things that we can't. But we were told by them that she was too bad. And this confused me even more, because I know she's not the worst case. She is verbal and she goes to mainstream school, and yet somehow she was still too bad. And I don't get how. I know she isn't the worst case. I know people with worse cases. I have a friend as well, with a younger brother, who isn't even verbal. And I know their families struggle too, so I hate that I know there are families worse than mine that struggle more than mine, and yet somehow my family is still too bad. So my message basically is, these kids need your services and better ones, because every child deserves a chance at normal life, even if it takes a little bit of help. Thank you. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Ryan.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan McKeown, and I'm originally from Dundalk in County Louth, but I moved to Clane in County Kildare 9 years ago. Today I want to talk to you about the lack of services and the waiting list in Ireland for children and young people, which we all know is a big problem nowadays, and the impact it's having on not just me, but all of the young people in Ireland to this day, and it's still going. In the past few years, I was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which we all know as ADHD. Now, ADHD basically means where you find it hard to stay within a structure, follow simple tasks and instructions, and planning and organising is bad. And also, simple things like that, you know what I mean? Basically, it's more, everyone knows what it is technically. Also, the past year, I was diagnosed with dyspraxia. Now, dyspraxia affects the development and the coordination and balance, also the motor skills. Basically, things that you find simple, and also the people watching find simple. Cutting food, walking, cycling bikes, it's all right for you, but it's a bit more challenging and time-consuming for me. but I don't mind because I know I have to do it. Now, in the past, growing up, it was safe to say I was very accident prone, and I was always seen falling over. I'd say a lot of people mistakenly thought I was drunk, but I assured them I'm sober. That's my condition, and that's how I have to live. But sure, look, we have to get up and get on with it at the end of the day. Yeah, I was in and out of hospital a lot with my condition from falling off bikes. Come on, lads, even walking I fell, come on. But the thing is, I was in, but I was losing out my school life, but also losing out my social life, which is hard for me to do when there's a service there that could actually help, but it's not helping. Now, at one stage, I was in and out of hospital that much, I thought they were going to ask me to pay rent. And that was a big problem because I would have been out the door. I have hopes and I have dreams, like all of you attending here today, and also watching from home. I have goals and achievements and ambitions that I want to reach. For an example, in the near future, I want to be a guard. I know you might say, why is he going into that job? But no matter. But we all know guards, and if there is any guards in the audience today, they need top quality support. Oh, not support, sorry. They need fitness, be able to run, and coordination and balance has to be perfect. So imagine, right, me out in patrol as a guard, right? You're there and there's a criminal only after walking up the road. Hang on there, if there's spracks, you wait up. You can't do that, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's not part of the job. But no matter. I want to say, so basically I was getting seen by Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, which is known as CAMHS in Kildare. And they took me in under the wing. There was times I was bad and unlucky, but there's also good times as well. There's always a good time to life. And when CAMHS took me in, they gave me techniques how to deal with my ADHD and made me more independent. But that's grand. My ADHD was getting looked after, but what about my dyspraxia? My coordination, that was being robbed because I wasn't getting seen by a physio. Did you know, if you're part of one service nowadays in Ireland, you can't be seen by another? That's completely wrong and outrageous. And wrong in many ways for young people. How is young people in this country meant to grow up to be the best they can be, the best version of themselves, when they can't access proper treatment, medical support? Yes, I have had a long struggle to get to where I am today. I was down a dark tunnel, and you could even call it a bad road. But there's always times, yes, I have a disability, but I look at it as an ability to go out and achieve something good in life, which I have achieved a bit, but I want to keep on achieving. And that's the message I want you to take away today. If you have a disability or non-disability, you're a young person of this country and you serve the same respect and the same medical support and not be left waiting. And basically, I felt like a tennis ball. That's the best way to describe it to you, is being hit from one service to another service. No young person should feel like that in any sort of way. And as I was already saying, I did have a long struggle and I did hit many rough patches along the way. And if I was to sit here and thank everybody to help me, oh God, I'd take up the whole day. I'm not going to lie. But I just want to say to one special person in the audience, to my ma. We all love Irish mummies, don't we? Being there and supporting me every step of the way. Even when times were bad and I was down, she was there to guide me along and told me, oh, it was going to be all right. Same as so did my stepdad, who took me down to Kildare with open arms. Grandparents, aunties, uncles, the whole lot. All the McKeown's back in Dundalk, and all of my friends, and most of them are here today, and my school and my classmates. So, and Ombudsman, come on, Stephen, over there in the corner, keep her lit, yeah? So, I want to say to the people out there, the people in power, the government, we're the young people of Ireland. Yous might think we're not staying quiet, we should stay quiet and accept what yous make. Yous don't know what we want. The young people of this country, we know what we want. And we will raise our voices until they're heard. Because you know why? We're the young people of Ireland, and we're staying quiet no longer. Thank you all for listening. Keep her lit. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please put your hands together for our next international speaker, Mina?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Amina. I am 13 years old. I come from Dodoma Central, Tanzania, East Africa. I am a boarder at first year at Mundem Secondary School. I have good friends in school. They support me in studies. They help me when I'm in need. My friends were very happy when they heard that I was coming to Dublin. They were very surprised. They asked me many questions. How are you going there? With whom are you going with? Are you going by a plane? They were very surprised. My dream is to become a doctor because in Tanzania there are many diseases. So I would like to be a doctor so that I can prevent those diseases. I can speak 3 languages, English, Kiswahili, and Nyamwezi. In school, medical treatment is really hard because hospitals are really far. You have to work if you don't have money. So it is really difficult for us. And for girls, it is not safe because girls are harassed so much in Tanzania because boys call girls bad names. They harass them so much, so it is not safe for us. In Tanzania, girls are different from boys because boys have higher priority than girls. Boys can go anywhere, any place, and whatever time they want. But girls, they are not safe. They might be raped and get pregnant. For example, I have 2 of my friends who were suspended from school because they got pregnant. I felt very sad for them because in this world, there is no work without education, right? And there is no money without work. So I feel very sad for them because they will not have money, and I don't know how will they give their children education. I can be my best self when I get school items. Girls must be respected, enough dormitories in school, enough teachers. I can't be my best self if there are corporal punishment, girls are not respected, medical treatment is not good. Article 12 of the Convention of Rights of the Children states that all children must have an opinion and have to listen and taken serious. So all parents must listen to us and take us serious, because if a girl or a child don't get basic needs from a parents, he or she will go elsewhere and may face different problems. Thank you. Thank you, the Tanzanian World Vision and Ireland World Vision, for making me stand here. I'm really happy and I will never forget this day. And I welcome children from Ireland to come to Tanzania and see many experience and see the sun which works. Thank you. I welcome Case.
Hi everybody, I'm Kate and I'm 16 years old. I was born with a rare chromosomal disorder and got very sick when I was a year old. I spent a long time in Crumlin Hospital and had lots of surgeries on lots of different parts of my body. After that, I was peg fed and used oxygen at home to help me breathe for a long time. I've had lots of challenges to deal with, but I've had lots of help along the way. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. The importance of helping and including people like me who have an illness or disability, and the importance of looking for and accepting help when you need it. So many of you are probably wondering, what is a chromosomal disorder? A chromosomal disorder is when the chromosomes in your body are missing a little bit of their limbs. This has caused problems for me, such as heart, airway, breathing and swallowing problems, physical muscle problems, social interaction problems, and learning difficulties. It also means that I'm prone to developing other illnesses, and I have been in and out of hospital and in ICU most of my life. At the age of 11, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis means that there are holes and sores in your stomach, which creates internal bleeding. This can cause extreme stomach aches and makes you need to go to the toilet urgently because of pain. It's not a very well-known illness because people don't want to talk about it. The last time I was in hospital, my dad said it looked like I was 102 years old. But I fought, and the doctors and nurses fought until I was back to myself. Right now, I'm back doing the things that I love with my musical theatre group, drama, and dance. 2 years ago, despite my disability and my illnesses, me and my mum finished the VHI Women's Mini Marathon for Barrettstown. A chromosomal disorder usually comes with some learning difficulties, and I have dyslexia and dyscalculia, which has made school hard for me. I was so nervous doing the June cert last June. I never thought I'd get that far in school. It was a lot of work, but I had lots of help. I had great support from the school, and especially from my SNAs. And with the help of a scribe and narrator, I finished my June cert last June. The day I got my results was a very proud day for me and for the people who helped me get there. It was a lot of work, but I had lots of help. Sorry. I started school late, and it always bothered me that I was older than the other kids in my class. I did have some friends in primary school, but I really struggled to fit in at secondary school. It's not easy being different when you're a teenager. My mental health suffered, and I've been seeing a therapist for a while now. She's been really helpful, and I'm getting better, stronger, and more resilient. When I'm at the bottom of my emotions and feeling really low, there's always someone to help me and some brightness to find. When my mom's in my hospital room with me, she helps me get my mind off things by playing games with me, talking with me, and we watch movies together. She helps me think of a goal that I can reach, and that helps me get better. The last time I was in hospital, my goal was to walk the full length of the hospital corridor from my bed. Step by step, I achieved that goal. There is a very special place I go, a place where everyone understands me, a place where other sick and disabled kids get back what we lost during our childhood and teenage years, a fun and magical place called Bardstown. Their motto is serious fun for seriously ill kids. When I was diagnosed with my illness, I was in such a low place. I wanted to go back to where I was before. The doctors and nurses suggested I go to Bardstown. When I got there, I met such lovely kids and adults, and it gave me the most wonderful experience of my life. It was life-changing for me to be around other kids with similar problems and to share the magical and inspiring moments that we did. For a whole week, we played games together, ate together, worked as teams, talked together, and shared our problems far from the outside world. It is truly a happy and inclusive place, and it showed me what the world can be like if everyone looks on the bright side and chooses to be kind. I've had lots of help to get where I am today. I've been helped by my doctors, nurses, my teachers, my SNAs, my family, my therapist, Enable Ireland, Silver Pines, and Bardstown. So many people have helped me, and I have had to work hard too. I've always had to try really hard to get a result, and I often don't get exactly what I wanted. But with the help from the people around me, I'm here, I'm happy, and I've never given up. My message to you all is, if you can, help someone who needs help today. Someone like me who has an illness or disability. Choose to help them, to be kind, to talk to people and include them in your conversations. Even inviting someone to join you when you're doing something fun can really make a difference. As Paul Newman once said, what could be better than to hold out your hand to someone who needs it? With the chromosomal disorder, the fight is never really over, but I'm okay with that. I'll get there because I have help. My name is Kate May Murphy, and I'm proud of who I am. I'd like to welcome on stage Carly.
Hello, I'm Carly Fagan. I'm 14 years old, and today I would like to talk to you all about an issue that's affecting girls across the country: period poverty. As a 14-year-old, I can say that I have had my first period, and from experience, I can say that periods are painful and annoying to have every month. Some days I feel unlucky, and sometimes I do feel sorry for myself. But right now, I can tell you that I feel incredibly angry that not every girl in Ireland is able to get sanitary products. 50% of young women in Ireland are unable to afford sanitary products. It is ridiculous that young girls in this country are having to go through their periods every month without the things they need. women are spending up to €132 a year on sanitary products. Even in Ireland, a country with 0% VAT on items like sanitary products, women are paying ridiculous amounts. Girls are suffering without things like pads and tampons. Girls are missing school, causing them to miss out on their education every month. Even if a woman isn't in school, well then she's missing out on her work life and her social life. According to an article by The Independent, some women are forced to use things like socks, cardboard and tissue as substitutes. Why? Why are girls forced to miss out on school, their work and friends? Why are girls forced to put tissue, cardboard and socks in their underwear? I believe that the fact that we don't talk enough about periods in this country is one of the reasons behind period poverty. 6 out of 10 girls in Ireland are embarrassed to talk about their periods. And it's not only them. We rarely talk about periods openly in this country. In casual conversation, it is okay to use terms like that time of the month when talking. Some can see it as polite. But when it comes to the fact that a girl is suffering, whether it be that she can't afford pads or tampons, or that she feels self-conscious while on her period, then we need to forget politeness and listen. We need to let girls know that it's okay to talk about their periods. We need to let girls know that if they are suffering, whether it be that they are unable to get the things they need, or that they are incredibly self-conscious while on their period, we need to let them know it's okay to talk to someone. If we talk about periods and the issues surrounding them, there will be change. If we talk, maybe more public areas will provide sanitary products in bathrooms, and maybe we won't have to pay for them. Maybe girls will no longer need to miss out on work, school, and their friends. And maybe girls will no longer need to use cardboard, socks, and tissues. I know that one day this change could happen. But change will only happen if we talk and if we listen. We need to realise that a woman's access to sanitary products is her human right, and that should never be denied. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Aoife from the Ombudsman for Children's Office.
Hi everyone, I'm Aoife from the Ombudsman for Children's Office, and I'm part of the team that helped put Child Talks together. First of all, wow, can we have a round of applause for all of those speakers? Thank you so much to our speakers today and to the performers, cabin crew, who started the show with such a bang. I think everyone will agree that they really surpassed anything we had hoped or wished for. This whole experience has been really overwhelming for us at the Ombudsman for Children's Office. When we started Child Talks last year, the goal was to provide a platform and a place for young people to have their say and to be heard. I don't know what we expected whenever we set that goal for ourselves, but it certainly wasn't the clarity and the honesty and the strength that the young people have shown here today. The young people you saw today have put so much work into the talks that they gave. They put themselves forward early in the summer, and they've been working with Stephen O'Riordan, my colleague here in the office, and Julian Clancy from Story Slam, all during the summer to work on their talks and to put it together. And I know cabin crew have done so much work to put their pieces together as well. They were, as you can see, very clear in what they wanted to say and how they wanted to say it. And all we really needed to do was to support them, to give them the confidence and to give them the tools so that they could say what they wanted to say. The theme of today's Child Talks was Be Your Best Self, and I think everyone will agree that they really were their very best selves, and that's what we should all aspire to be if we can. They put so much work into it. There was so much of themselves and so much went into all of these talks. And here at the Ombudsman for Children's Office, we are extremely proud of all the young people who took part today. We'd also like to mention the Minister who was here today, and it really meant a lot to have her contribute and give her time. But really it meant a lot to the young people that she was here to listen to them and to hear what they had to say. And I really hope that she goes back to her colleagues in government and to everyone she works with and tells them about the kind of stories she heard today and about the young people that she heard from and met. And we just want to mention as well the parents and family and friends and supporters of all our speakers and performers, because they really helped them and were there for them the whole way through the process. And I don't think we would have had the quality that we had today without all of them. At the Ombudsman for Children's Office, we think that children and young people should be heard every day of the week, all the time. But today is a special day, it's World Children's Day. So today is an important opportunity just to stop and to hear young people, to listen to their stories and their experiences, and hopefully people can see that it is important to do that all of the time. Today, as the Minister mentioned, is the 30th anniversary of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. Niall, the Ombudsman, is at the Oireachtas today talking about what still needs to happen to progress and promote children's rights in Ireland, because there's still a lot to be done. As you can hear from the young people who are speaking today, we still have issues and there's more work to be done. There are still too many children falling between the cracks, and there are still too many children in the margins of society. So I hope that everybody really, really enjoyed their day today. I hope you go back and tell your friends, your family, people in school, people you work with, anyone you know really, all about the young people that you saw today and the stories that you heard, and tell them what you thought. And it's time as well to give your view and to say what you think about the issues that you heard from today. I just want to say thank you to everyone who came. It really made the event today amazing, and you've been a brilliant audience. Thank you to all of the people who've been involved in making this happen. And then finally, just to finish off this whole event, if they do half as good as they did at the beginning, we'll be lucky. Welcome back, all the way from Cork, Cabin Crew.
I'm not listening to you. I want you to stay away, 'cause I don't want to talk today. I don't want to play your game. Let me do it my way, my way, my way. I'm not listening. Do it my way, my way, my way. I'm not listening. Do it my way, my way, my way. I'm not listening. Do it my way, my way, my way. I'm not listening to you. All right, everyone, how are you getting on? Make some noise for the cabin. No one knows my aim. No one can do what I can do. No one is the same. Everybody's got a dream to pursue. Story is the Hyperman set. MC when you leave it direct. Jimmy spit the best. The microphone tap and leave it direct. And again, it's the Hyperman set. MC when you leave it direct. Jimmy spit the best. The microphone tap and leave it direct. And again, I met Tiny at this summer camp. Now I got a red carpet on my own ramp. I support Chelsea, so I wish it was blue. That's why I give a big shout out to all the cabin crew. Woo! No one knows my aim. No one can do what I can do. No one is the same. Everybody's got a dream to pursue. All right, everyone, are you having a good World Children's Day? Well, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna
Please welcome all our speakers from today's event back on stage. Please show your appreciation for our young speakers and our musicians. Ladies and gentlemen, our event has now concluded for today, and you can make your way back into the foyer where you'll see some stands, and please take any of the information you see provided at those stands. You can also take photographs, and thank you for attending today's event.
What's up, man?